Hi, this is David with entry number. Um, what are we at? 641, I believe, is what we are recording at. Um, there's a couple things I want to talk about. And I'm gonna keep this one brief again because I feel like it. And one thing I wanted to talk about is produce. This is an apple, and it is a Korean apple grown, I believe, here. It actually One of the cool things about produce in Korea, and actually all food and almost every product actually, is that it has a designation on its packaging of where it was produced. Um, but I think this looks pretty much like any apple you see in the U.S. Um, it is a varietal of, or maybe a subspecies of the Fuji apple, which is, of course, from Japan. Um, these apples I bought. Oh, so produce. Um, Produce is expensive in Korea. I think a lot of people are. That's one thing a lot of foreigners are taken aback by is the price of is the price of produce. We get very spoiled in the U.S. Because so much of our produce, is subsidized by the government, and the stuff that's not subsidized is grown at such a uh, grotesque figure that the price can be fairly inexpensive. Here in Korea, the land is at very much a premium, and so any food or any kind of production that is done here is at cost, real, almost like what I would consider a true cost. So typically, it is very common to see apples, maybe a little bit bigger than this size, but apples be cost about 1,000 won, or little under $1 a piece, and that's very expensive to me. I know that's probably a little bit silly to say, but it does feel kind of expensive. So whenever I see produce at a lower cost, I always jump on it. And so I got this big bag. I think it was 2.4 kilos of apples for 4,800 won, or about 450 US dollars. And I gotta say, these apples are tasty. Um, and I guess that's all I wanted to say about that. But it is a strange thing to see what I would consider the true cost of food is um, here. And I think eventually in the U.S. and worldwide, we will see a time when the cost of things that we take for granted goes up quite a bit. Um, Meat here is another thing that's very expensive, and I won't even get into it, but it is very expensive. And I would consider that to be pretty much the true cost as well. Um, you pay by grams in Korea, in Asia, and so 100 grams, which for an American size is not a lot, is usually of beef, I should say, is usually somewhere in the ballpark of 20 to $15 US, which is pretty expensive. Um, but anyway, the other second piece I wanted to talk about before I wrap it up, because I want to try and keep this one a little bit short, is the fact that we are finally in good weather territory here. For the longest time, for about 3 weeks actually, we just hovered around 74, which I know for like a lot of people is like ideal weather, but for me that's still a little warm. But finally, finally this week we are dipping into the 50s, and so it's really strange though because we are getting literally within 3 days we are getting a 20-degree temperature swing. That's Fahrenheit, which I think is pretty drastic. But so that it was like 70 on Friday. It was like 74 degrees, and by tomorrow it's supposed to be 58. So that's pretty drastic, I think. And I realize that's not 20 degrees, but you know, it's a lot. Um, anyway, that's about all I wanted to say. I'm very happy at the moment. You know, I think everything is in a really good position. I had a really nice discussion yesterday with my pupil that went a very long time, about 3 hours 10 minutes, so pretty long. Anyway, uh, we'll talk about that probably on Tuesday when I make the next video. But anyway, I should stop saying anyway. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk with you in a couple days. Bye.